Let's have some more practice with our recursion, and this time I want you to write a program that will reverse the numbers. So in case the number is 1, 2, 3, then the output should be 3, 2 and 1. And what I've done is behind the scenes I've created a new file called as reverse number inside recursion, and I have created a blank module for this one. Now here you can use your own logic to reverse the number, or if you want some reference, I have given a simple algorithm right over here, but it's not required to follow my logic. If you can do it in any other way, you are welcome to do it. So let's see what steps I have given right over here. So for example, the number is 123, then the output should be 321. So for this case, suppose I want to write a tail recursive version. At that time, I want to have one more variable called as accumulator, and I want to set the default value of accumulator to 0. Now again, it's not necessary for you to write a tail recursive version. You can write any version that you seem fine, but I am going to write a tail recursive version for this one. That's why I have taken one more variable. Next, what I'm doing is I'm creating a loop, and for each iteration, I want to create a new number and a new accumulator. So let's see what's going to happen for the new number and for the new accumulator. For each iteration of the loop, I simply want to divide this number by 10 so that I get a new number each time. So for the first time, the number is 123. So 123 divided by 10. So I get the answer as 12. Now for the new accumulator, there are two steps. The first step is I simply want to multiply my existing accumulator by 10. Now the existing accumulator is 0. So 0 multiplied by 10, that's why I have a 0 right over here. So this was the first part. And the next part is I also want to take the remainder of this number. So I'm using the mod operator. So here what's going to happen is the remainder of 123 and 10 is 3. And the final step is 0 plus of 3, and we get a 3 right over here. The next thing is I want to continue with this loop till the time my number becomes 0. But right now my number is 12. So this number changes from 123 to 12, and the new accumulator is 3. That's why this 0 changes to a 3. Now is my number equal to 0? No. So we continue with the loop. So for the next iteration, our number is 12. So 12 divided by 10, we get a 1 right over here. And for the new accumulator, the value inside the accumulator is 3. So 3 multiplied by 10, we get a 30 right over here. For the next part, the number is 12. The remainder of 12 and 10 is 2. So here we have 30 plus of 2. That's why this will evaluate to 32. Now again, is my number equal to 0? No. My new number is 1 and my new accumulator is 32. So we continue with the same loop. Now this time my number is 1. So 1 divided by 10, I get a 0 right over here. Then for the new accumulator, my value inside the accumulator is 32. So as you can see right over here, we have 32. So 32 multiplied by 10, that's why we get 320 right over here. The next part is the number is 1. The remainder of 1 and 10 becomes 1. So here we have 1 plus of 320. So we get 3, 2 and 1 right over here. So what happens now? Your number has become 0 and your accumulator has become 321. And since your number becomes 0, we simply want to return back the accumulator, and the accumulator is 321, which is exactly the reverse of 123. Now before you attempt this question, let me show you one more thing. In Elixir, if you do something like this, 123 divided by 10, here you can see that we get back a float value. But if you want to get back an integer division, then you can use the inbuilt function of div for division. So we can say we want to divide 123 by 10 and we get back the integer value of 12. Now for calculating the remainder, we don't have the modulus operator. Instead, you can use the inbuilt function of remainder. So we can say that we want to get the remainder of 123 with 10 and we get back the value of 3. So with these things in mind, I want you to try this program. Now again, let me repeat, you can use your own logic. and just pause this video for a moment and try it on your own. Otherwise, we will do it together. So I hope you were able to do it. If not, let us do it together. I am going to write a tail recursive version for this program. And the first thing which I want to do is I simply want to define my base case. And what is my base case? My base case is right over here. So if my number is 0, then I simply want to return the accumulator. Let me create a function called as off, and this function is going to accept two parameters, my number and my accumulator. And my base case is something like this. In case my number is 0, then I simply want to return back my accumulator. So this is our base case. Now let us define the recursive case. So we can say that the function of off is going to accept one parameter for the number, the second one for the accumulator, and let us create the do and end blocks. Here we can say that my new number is going to be the integer division of my number with 10, and also for each iteration I want to create a new accumulator. So I can say that my new accumulator, again let us use the logic that we have defined over here. So the logic goes like this: for each iteration I simply want to multiply the accumulator with 10, and for the next part we simply want to add the remainder of the number along with 10. Now the only thing left to do is to simply call the same function one more time, but this time the argument is going to be our new number, and here we have the new accumulator. Now here we also need to set the default value of accumulator to 0. So let me create a function definition on the top. So we can say that function of off accepts one parameter by the name of number. The second parameter is called as accumulator. The default value is 0. Now since this is just the function definition, we don't have to create the body. Let me save this program. Let me open up my terminal. Now since this time I have added a new file, let us recompile the entire project. So we can say that I want to recompile. Then let me create an alias for tutorials.recursion.reverse number. Oh sorry, I spelled it wrong. So it has to be alias. Let me clear up the screen, and now let us try our newly defined function. So we can say that reverse number off, and let us pass the argument of 123, and we get the right answer back. Let us try with 1 2 3 4 5, and we get back the answer of 5 4 3 2 1.